Hello and welcome to a very special episode of Weekend Winners in association with Bet Victor, where you might have guessed from our backdrop, we are here at Royal Ascot for the Royal Meeting to preview the fifth and final day, the Saturday of Royal Ascot. And I'm even more delighted to say that I'm being joined by the very much suited and booted pair of Sam Boswell and Declan Ricks. Sam, very, very smart, lovely winner in the Gold Cup yesterday. How's your week been?
Yeah, I'm going to keep trumpeting that Kate thing to Royal Ascot next year. But yeah, fantastic week so far. From a bookmaking perspective as well, it has been tough for punters, I must say. We're very much ahead at this stage of the meeting, but we're filming this with Friday and Saturday to come, and I'm really looking forward to getting stuck into the Saturday card with you. Yeah,
we've still got so much action to come, haven't we? Declan, we didn't get the top hat out of you. That was very disappointing for us. How's your week been otherwise?
Yeah, I don't think anyone needs to see me looking like the Penguins, so yeah, we'll save people that. It's been a good week, delighted to be here. It's been a tough week on the punting front, especially as Sam chinned me with Coltrane as well, and Highfield Princess was just touched off as well. But look, it's a competitive race, and that's what I love about it.
Lumia Rock, though, lovely second yesterday at a big price.
Yes, well, Warmheart, we were originally going to...
We won't mention that, yeah, we won't mention that.
Aidan said she wasn't going to run, and then she ran, and then she wins. But yeah, look, it's been good. Lumia Rock ran a cracker as well, so yeah, all good, all good. Ready for another 2 days, and but Saturday, of course.
Yes, exactly. Saturday that we will be focusing on. Now, as the guys have said, that it has been a turbulent week so far for punters, but hopefully we will still be able to find you some winners for the fifth and final day. But a reminder, as ever, to please do gamble responsibly, that our tips are not guaranteed to win, but we will still do our best to put you in the right direction anyway. And also a reminder to like and subscribe to the At The Races YouTube channel so you never miss an episode. Right, let's crack on with the action, because we are beginning with the Group 3 Jersey Stakes for the 3-year-olds over 7 furlongs at 3:05. Covey is the current market leader in a bid to bring up a 4-timer for the man that all eyes will be on his final day of Royal Ascot, Frankie Dettori. But Declan, will it be a Frankie farewell tour final win for him, or are you not letting sentiment cloud your judgment?
No, I'm sick of Frankie after he chinned me in the Gold Cup yesterday. And look, I want to take him on again here. I think Convoy is pretty short for what he's done, to be honest. He goes up in class and he drops in trip. I think Frankie, to be fair, I think has given him 2 good rides to win the last couple of starts. The Antarctic as well steps up in trip. He's obviously a full brother to Batash, who is a real speedster over 5 furlongs. I thought the last day when he ran at Naas, he was just crying out for the line. And I wanted to take on kind of the horses to the front of the market. And I just thought Jesse Harrington's Ker Shamar was a big price for a horse who ran very well in the Irish 2,000 guineas. That form was obviously boosted during the week. Paddington ran well, obviously won, bolted up. But Charon obviously was behind him as well. The Roger Varian horse, he ran a crack in that race. That form looks good. Now, I think the pace in the Irish Guineas, you could say maybe a couple of horses were so flattered to get so close to the likes of Paddington, and he could be one of those. But he did travel well. I don't think the drop to 7 furlongs will be any issues to him. And I think a key is for the rest of the week is going to be horses handling quick ground. He's got a beautiful action. He's by Shamardal. I think he could run well at a big price.
OK, then a big price play for Declan, not letting sentiment get in the way whatsoever, Sam. But what's your play?
Yeah, I'm keen to try and take the favourite on as well. I think we're all a bit too short on Frankie's horses this week in the industry, I think it's fair to say. Olivia Mirando for the Ammo team. I'm really interested in Roger Varian's horse. Roger's hit the crossbar so far at time of recording with a couple of seconds so far this week, but go back to that Guineas run when ending up 7th in ground that I think was unsuitable, and then heading to Epsom on the sort of surface that she's going to encounter here, and really was impressive. Roger said the key for this horse is going to be a fast pace and quick ground. Well, I'm pretty sure we're going to get both of those things in this contest. I'm really, really keen on it. I've seen a little bit of each way support already at the price now. I think she'll shorten up.
OK, then think that she'll shorten up. But you both mentioned the fast surface that we're going to be expecting on Saturday. The ground has been drying up throughout the entire week. So I was trying to think along similar lines, but to be honest with you, I'm being very unoriginal with the start of our show, because I'm siding with the favourite here, Covey, who is definitely ground versatile, but did prove himself on a quick surface last time out. Now, he remains very unexposed, as we know. Just the 4 starts so far for this son of Frankel, all of which that have come this year. But he hasn't had have progressed with his runs, though, winning twice over the specialist trip of this trip of 7 furlongs before dotting up on his handicap debut when Upton trip to a mile last time out, proving himself on the fast surface. Now, he did get to Maycool and he did just dictate on the front end, but he looked a class apart. So it wasn't as though we did much learning about him as such, but he definitely did plenty of learning himself. So I'm hoping that that's going to stand him in pretty good stead over the 7 furlongs again, and he's the horse that looks to have an unlimited amount of ability at this stage, at this trip. So 3 different opinions for you in our opener. Hopefully that helped solve it in any sort of way, or at least confirmed, or perhaps put off you potentially of some of the horses we have discussed. Then do let us know your own selections in the comments section below. Now we will move on to our next race. This is the Queen Elizabeth II Jubilee Stakes, this Group 1. Now with a very catchy title, I must admit, but of course it is fantastic that we are honouring Her Late Majesty forevermore with the new title of this race. 4 4-year-olds and over 6 furlongs at 3:40. The Aussies heading the way of Artorias from the Hong Kong runner, Wellington in next, then Highfield Princess after her luckless run in the kicking stand, getting another bite at the cherry 4 days later. But Sam, who wins it?
Oh, Kate, I'm going to use a dreadful pun here. Wellington's going to have the boot to win this. I've been waiting all evening to get that teed up.
Not too short a price.
Exactly. Look, listen, around 11 to 2, I mean, I just sort of thought to myself, I went back through the form book. I can't confess to being a massive Hong Kong knowledge head, but pretty impressive when winning, going back into that Group 1 in December last year. Since then, a couple of placed efforts and potentially not been as good, but Ryan Moore is such a curious jockey booking. Obviously, he probably had the choice of a few in here. Richard Gibson, the trainer, is moving back to the UK or Europe at least after this season in Hong Kong, and I think this is going to be a really good chance for him to showcase his training ability in front of a wider audience outside of that Hong Kong bubble. I really like the horse, and I just felt at the prices, I know the horse hasn't travelled outside of Hong Kong before. That's the only nagging doubt I've got, but I think the market confidence that we've seen so far and will continue to see, I think this horse will go off favourite.
Yeah, and you look at his form, I mean, he's been beaten by perhaps one of the best sprinters, if not the best sprinter in the world anyway. So if he is able to translate that form here, that might just be good enough. So international perspective for Sam, Declan, who are you siding with?
Yeah, look, I think I'd have a lot of respect for Wellington. I obviously hope he doesn't win. I hope he's been running on those flat tracks around Sha Tin and Happy Valley, so I hope when he sees that stiff Ascot Hill, he's going to get a little bit sick, and that means Highfield Princess will hopefully go well again. I just look at that field and I look at the market and I just see Artorias. He's a horse who actually ran well over 7.5 furlongs in Australia. Sacred, I think, could be a 7 furlong filly. Kinross, I think, for him to win again over 6 furlongs, he probably needs plenty of cut in the ground. So I'm just hoping with Highfield Princess stepping back up and tripping, getting back on a firmer surface, you know, she's going to travel so easily through this race. It might get a little bit scary late in terms of her hanging on, because I do think she's probably better over 5. We know she's tough. Backing up, I don't think it's going to be any of a worry. And I actually bumped into Jason Hart after the race on Tuesday. He was a little bit disappointed. He thought maybe the rain didn't kind of help, just kind of blunted her speed a bit, but he was very confident in saying she's a filly who loves racing and she'll progress throughout the year. He thinks she might even step forward from that run, so I'm hoping that's the case as well.
Okay, so Highfield Princess to gain some recompense for you.
Yes.
And again, a third and different selection for me as well, because Rohan is the one who I think looks probably overpriced here, really, because I get people's doubts about him. He's 0 from 7 in Group 1 company, but this course and distance just brings out beyond the best in him. Of course, the winner of the last 2 renewals of the Wokingham, but he's had his hand for somewhat to move out of that company. It is, of course, a 0 to 110 handicap, so he has to race over the same course and distance, but in Group 1 company this time around. But he proved himself up to this class when he finished 4th in the Group 1 Sprint Stakes at the end of last season. Did best of the group on the far rail. He's 4 from 6 at Ascot. Those 2 defeats coming when doing best of those against the far rail in the Sprint Stakes, and the other time was in the same race last year when he bled. So he cannot be underestimated over this course and distance again, and about 11 to 1 looks a fair enough price for me. So Rohan for me. Sam?
Ryan Moore's going to boot Wellington home, Kate.
Oh, I like it. Double down on the pun. Deck?
I'm hoping Highfield Princess will be crowned.
Oh, well, goodness me. Okay, you two are absolutely flying with these today. You can tell that you've upped the game because we're on location. Again, do let us know your own selections in the comment section below as we move on to our next race. This is the Group 2 Hardwick Stakes for the 4-year-olds and over a mile 4 at 4:20. It's Hookham who heads the way to show his class again, just as he did last time out at Sandown. But Declan, who are you siding with?
Yeah, to be honest, I couldn't back Hookham at that price. You know, he's coming back. He's going to have a second run after a pretty serious injury where they thought he might even have to be retired. Fair play to everyone at Shadwell and the Owen Burrows team for getting him back, and to the horse as well. For, you know, it's hard, that kind of rehabbing of the horses and then coming back. Look, he was obviously very good in the Brigadier Gerard, but I think he could bounce. I wouldn't be surprised if he was a little bit flat after that run. I have a lot of respect for Free Wind, but just in terms of ability, I didn't think there was a lot between her and Deauville Legend. So I thought at the prices he was a better bet. Look, he ran here last year in the King George V handicap, so he's got course and distance experience. But after that run, he just kept on progressing. Obviously won the Bahrain Trophy and then went on to win the Great Voltager. Started a short price in the Melbourne Cup, and I think the rain really kind of scuppered his chance that day. He ran very well. Look, we're going to need a little bit of kind of positivity in the late market just to see, you know, if he's ready to go, because he looks a little bit of a barrely horse, but a good mover. I just thought at the prices he was the bet, but I thought kind of I'd rather back him at 8-1 and Free Win at 11-4. So it was just basically a value selection for me.
Okay, well, we always like a value selection, and I say do just watch the market for Deauville Legend anyway. Sam?
I'm doubling down here. I said Hookham's going to bounce to the moon. I got a load of stick for it. I still think he's going to bounce. Maybe not as far to the moon, but I'm just pretty sure that I really want to be with Free Wind. I think she's just such a classy animal. And someone pointed out to me, well, why don't you think she's going to bounce? You know, she's had the similar time off and then come back, and I just don't think it's the same. I think the race that Hookham had was it was a sensational win. Do not get me wrong, but you have to look at what's happened to Desert Crown after that. You know, it was a really tough race. You go back through her form as well. It's been boosted this week already with Rogue Manelian winning. You go back to Sela Rossa last year, who she got the better of, went on to win, I think, 3 times since then, including in really good company. I'm a massive fan of this horse. John Gosden and Lady Gosden already having a good week. I think their good form will continue, and Free Wind for me is a massive price at 11-4.
Oh, you make a good case. I'm pleased to hear, though, that you did get a boost for that bold shout, though, about Hookham. I mean, fair play to you for making that shout. But
and didn't Sam say he was going to put on the old
infamous cream jacket,
the Wimbledon jacket if Hookham wins? So
could be coming back.
The Wimbledon jacket, it's got its own name.
Very much vested interest for the weekend winners team in that race.
Oh, exactly. I cannot wait. This has been the highlight race of the week for me, purely for that outcome, which we hope we will get to see. Because I'm with Hookham as well here, because I'm hoping that he's going to get the run, basically, more so than anything. It's not an absolute given. You know, connections. This horse doesn't owe anyone anything. But it's not an absolute given that he's going to be running here if the ground is quickening. Because as you say, Dec, he did pick up that potentially career-ending injury in the Coronation Cup last season. But hopefully it is considered safe enough for him. He's such a class act. I mean, I love this year's Hardwick. It's fantastic. Free Wind, as you say, her form was boosted by Rogue Millennium earlier on in the week. I love Pile Driver, but he's a horse who does need his first start of the season anyway. So the play for me has to be Hookham, because he managed to kick Pile Driver out of the way in the aforementioned Coronation Cup in no uncertain terms last season. And it was just great to see him on the back of that lengthy absence coming and beating Desert Crown, the Derby winner, in such decisive style then. And I was told that he was a bit barrely on that occasion, so I'm expecting him to come forwards. He's a dual course and distance winner, 3rd in this race last year, escapes a penalty. So, as I say, I just hope that the ground is considered with enough given it that we will actually get to see him. So Hookham for me, Dec.
It's going to be Deauville Legend for me, please.
Sam?
Free Wind for me.
Another 3 different selections. Goodness me, we do actually agree all together on something later on, but I'm not going to give that away just yet. As we move on to our final race that we're going to be covering in this section, it is the Wokingham, a really competitive 0-110 heritage handicap for 3-year-olds and over 6 furlongs at 5 o'clock. The betting as wide open as you would imagine, 7-1 the field. Sam, you're up first. Good luck.
Yeah, well, the good news is we all agree, so I'm going to keep my case very concise. One thing I would say is Probe, for me, could not have at all at that price. I think it's going to hate the ground, personally. But Lethal Levi, 14-1 on the graphic. I think that's a cracking each-way price. Second to Bielsa last time out. And this horse last season for Carl Burke was incredibly progressive. I still think there's more to come. I want to side with a younger horse here who is battle hardened, had plenty of experience. It's not a lightly raced 4-year-old in the context of some of the others in here. And I just felt that this horse was where my sort of pin came down with the additional places that we're bound to be offering on the race. I know you two also like the horse, so let's get you stuck in and give you something to talk about.
Of all of the races for us three to agree on, we've disagreed on every other race.
Yeah.
We all agree in the Wokingham. Deck, state your case.
Yeah, look, I think Sam's kind of wrapped it up fairly well there. I would say he kind of started the season poorly at Newmarket, but the run last time out at York, I thought he deserved an upgrade for that because the race just developed away from him. He was stuck out on the wing, nothing Clifford Lee could do. Just the draw kind of beat him on the day. I thought to go so close just kind of showed what kind of form he was in as well. Fast ground is going to suit him, no doubt. Again, we said that at the kind of top of the show about horses needing and handling quick ground. That'll be no bother to him. He's by Lethal Force, who's a horse who had one of his biggest days here, winning the Diamond Jubilee here as a 4-year-old. He was a horse who progressed a lot from 3 to 4, so I'm hoping it's going to be the same with Lethal Levi, who, as Sam kind of said, 4 and 5-year-olds generally do very well in these races, and you want to be looking to those more kind of unexposed sorts, don't you? So I think Lethal Levi fits the bill for all of that.
He does, doesn't he? And I'm so pleased that you have both bolstered my thoughts about this horse because I have history with this horse. I mentioned it on the show a few weeks back where I sided with him in the Stewards Cup at Goodwood last year. He looked an absolute good thing for that, and clearly the market support reflected it. He absolutely blew it though. So I am a glutton for punishment. I'm going back in again. But he's just a horse where I feel that he has a big handicap in him, and I'm hoping the Wokingham will be the one. As you say, he ran a blinder last time out where the race worked out against him, but he was closing all of the way to the line, and I still think that he can defy this £4 higher mark. Should still see him well enough treated if he's able to replicate that most recent form, so hopefully the Wokingham will be it.
Last time, Kate, we all agreed, it's the only time it's happened once, we have a 100% record we're putting on the line here with a 14-to-1 shot in an incredibly competitive race. Let's hope we get the job done.
Oh goodness, yeah, like you say, the last time we all agreed, yeah, it managed to come off, so 1 from 1. We're bidding to make that 2 from 2, so it's a Lethal Levi for all of us, but now we are moving on to the all-important part, our best bets for this Saturday. Now it's time for the all-important part where we will put our money where our mouth is, our best bets for this Saturday of Royal Ascot. Deck, you are up first.
Yeah, best bets. Going to double down and go with the Napeth Highfield Princess. She was the nap at the start of the week. She ran very well, but I think she can go better again. I just feel there's a lot of horses in that race that are 7-furlong horses, getting on quick ground. She's going to travel so easily. I hope she can hang on late because she probably is a little better over 5 furlongs. I'm just hoping that the pace of the race is going to really suit her. So yeah, Highfield Princess is going to be the nap for me. The next best is going to be Deauville Legend. I think he's way overpriced on form. We're going to need a little bit of positivity from the Sky Sports Racing team on track, the paddock judges and whatnot, and I'm hoping that the betting market will give us some positive vibes as well. I do think he's very overpriced in a race where Hookham, might not run up to his best form. And the long shot we touched on as well, Carshamar for Jesse Harrington. I think he's well drawn around Convey and some of the market leaders in the Jersey Stakes. He's got classic form in the Irish Guineas, which was boosted in the week, and he just looks a very big price to me. So yeah, those are the 3 who I'm hoping will do damage for us on Saturday.
Well, hopefully so. Hopefully the bookies will take a bashing with those. Sam, no offence, but your own best bets?
Yeah, let's get stuck in then. So I'm waiting for the last for my nap of the day, which is going to be another Willie Mullins horse. He obviously kicked off the week with the winner in Volbon. Stratum for me at 2-to-1. I just think this will have been the plan. The reappearance at Leopardstown was over 1 mile 6, and I know the race didn't quite probably end up suiting him. I think it was just a case of getting a reappearance into him. He's a pound lower than when he won this last year, so I'm fairly confident that Stratum will go at least close, and at 2-to-1 I think he's a fair play for a nap price. Free Wind, already sort of eulogised about her. I think she's brilliant, and I think she's going to absolutely sluice up and put Hookham in his place, I'm afraid, Kate. And the long shot, well, if we're all agreeing, I really, really have got confidence that Lethal Levi is going to at least be in the places, and I think you'll get the extra places with Bet Victor, so do check that out. And the only other thing I'll add before I disappear off the screen is just to mention that we will be boosting our 3 naps into a treble. So if you like all 3, make sure you go over to betvictor.com, get involved in the weekend winners boosted treble.
Okay, the boosted treble, no pressure on the 3 of us then, but I like that offer a lot. Now, my own best bets for the Saturday. My nap is going to be Hookham. I'm hoping that we get to see him, and if we do get to see him in the Hardwick, hopefully that's just going to be a reflection of Connection's confidence in him that the ground will be suitable. That race coming up at 4:20. Such a talented horse, and he showed that again on his reappearance last time out, claiming the scalp of last year's Derby winner, despite looking like he really would need the run. So I'm expecting him to come forwards for that. My next best bet is going to have to be Rohan at 11-1. I can't avoid that price, to prove himself up to Group 1 class over his favourite course and distance after winning the Wokingham for the past 2 years. And he should come forwards no end for his seasonal debut, where he did really just look pretty rusty at Salisbury, at the place where it counts for him most of all, at Ascot. And I have to agree with Sam, the long shot is going to be Lethal Levi in the Wokingham, 14-1 about him. Hopefully he will be able to go one better than when he finished second last time out. A horse that does have a big handicap in him somewhere along the way. Perhaps I'll keep following him over that cliff, but I'm willing to give him another chance, given that the guys are also siding with him as well. So they are our best bets for the Saturday of Royal Ascot, and that's everything from us. A big thank you to Sam and to Declan for all of their hard work as per usual. A big thank you to you at home for watching and for getting involved with your comments as well. Do remember that you can continue watching all of Royal Ascot's coverage on Sky Sports Racing. We'll be back next week where we will be previewing the Northumberland Plate, so make sure you join us again for that.